Hi, I'm Jesse. I have a lot of books and I like sharing them. Today we're going to be looking at 8 series of kids' books that kids love. Today we're going to be looking at these book series. They're not in any particular order, but just a number that I like and that our daughter, who's now 8, likes. And they range from certain ages. She's a little bit advanced of a reader. Every parent will say that. But these are books she's enjoyed now or enjoyed when she was a little younger. So you can see a couple series here, and I want to start on the left with the Judy Moody books, which are a lot of fun. She's this rambunctious girl who gets into trouble, and our daughter loves that. She also has a little brother named Stink, and they spun off a whole lot of Stink books. That's a lot of fun. And one year for Halloween, our daughter dressed up as Judy Moody, which just means she wore a shirt that said, "I ate a shark," which is from the book. And then when we were trick-or-treating, she saw someone dressed up as a shark. So that was a lot of fun. Next, I want to look at these books. So these are 2 series of school books. So we have Wayside School and The Weird School. So Wayside School, excellent series of books. It's just this weird school where all these bizarre things happen, and they're really, really funny. There was a chapter about pets that they brought into class, and they all had confusing names that was like who's on first, and it's just hilarious. And Sienna, that's our daughter, just cracks up at some of these. So that's Wayside School.
I like this book because it's very interesting and fun, and it has a lot of plot and plot twists. Done.
My Weird School, she also loves. They're really funny. They're really thin books, really simple to read, really quick. They're not quite as good. They have the protagonist says he hates school, just goes on and on about how much he hates school. There's some gender stereotypes. There's repetitive parts of the book that just sort of repeat. There's repetitive parts of the book that just sort of repeat. They're not quite bad enough that we have banned them, and she loves them and enjoys them, so we have them. But they're not the top thing I would recommend. Next, we have another that is hilarious and she loves, Captain Underpants. Now, these are like the best-selling books, like the most popular books here. They're also not my absolute favorite, just because they're pretty stupid. They're just pretty dumb. And I think that's why kids love them. It's just that type of dumb humor and potty humor, and you got to give this guy credit for finding the exact thing that like cracks kids up and they absolutely love. He's done a lot of different series, and one that we thought was much better was this Cat Kid Comic Club book, where Cat Kid starts a comic club at school and everyone creates these different comics. So the comics are drawn in all different styles. This is a graphic novel, and so the different characters are drawing different things in different styles. It's very clever and very funny. So that's one that I would recommend. Cat Kid Comic Club. That's hard to say. Oh, Babysitter's Club. You know, the classic, the most popular books. Sienna's a little too young to read the actual prose books, but they came out with graphic novels, and they're just really beautifully done. These are illustrated by Raina Telgemeier, who is a super famous best-selling author who we've met, actually. And they're just really good adaptations of the books. And having them in graphic novel form had them appeal to our daughter a little bit more. If your child's even younger, they have Babysitter's Little Sister, which was a spin-off, which was an even younger style graphic novel with sort of younger, simpler plots. I think she breaks her leg in one of them, or finds a cat or something. It's simple, but really nice. Let's see what other books are here that are series. Mr. Wolf's Class. You can see, by the way, all around me, this is our section of children's books. They're in alphabetical order. The rest of the books in the apartment are not alphabetized, but this made it easy to find books when our daughter wanted an extremely specific book extremely quickly at that moment. This is a nice series, Mr. Wolf's Class. It's these animals in school, and they go on trips. This is a graphic novel as well. There's 4 of these books. This author, Aaron Nelstenke, apologies for the pronunciation, we first heard about because he did this book, The Zoo Box, which is trippy and a lot of fun, and you should read it as an adult, and it's good for kids too. And it's about kids that dress up as animals for fun, and all these animals escape from this box in their attic, and they follow the animals to a zoo in which it's a zoo for animals where in the cages are people. And it's done in a lighthearted way, but that is terrifying. And that is really bizarre and frightening and trippy, and it's kind of like a dream. And that's just a lot of fun. But you could have nightmares about that. Cardboard Kingdom, let's see under C. Only 2 in this series, but Cardboard Kingdom is just excellent book about these kids who use cardboard to dress up in different costumes and build different things. And it's a lot about embracing diversity, teamwork, resolving conflict. There's a bully who then they incorporate into the club. They just solve problems. It's just really, really nicely done, and they're all dressed up in these different costumes. And the art is beautiful. It's just really cool, and the morals and the lessons in these are really nice, so I highly recommend these.
I like that it has all these people pretending to be other people, and then there's this bully who doesn't pretend to be anybody. Then.
And that author also did a book called Doodleville, which I haven't actually read. I think my wife read this to our daughter, not just on her own. Well, maybe she did, I don't know. But this book looks really nice too. It's very cool. It's about doodles that come to life. This is a really cool one. Down here in the P section, The Princess in Black. Kind of like a cross between in The Princess Bride and The Man in Black. There's a lot of books out there, and several that we have, about a new trend of princesses who stand up for themselves, and the princesses are not stereotypical princesses. And this one of that genre is particularly good. It's this great mix of illustration and text. Just a really nicely done combination in a slightly different style than you normally see. It's a certain level that's hard to find. And they're really, really funny. There's the Princess in Black, and there's another superhero named the Goat Boy. And it's just hilarious. And she has her secret identity as a pretty, pretty princess, but she actually sneaks out like a ninja and fights crime. These books are hilarious. I think there's 6 or 7 of them now. And then lastly, sort of built up to one of her favorite book series, the Treehouse books. So these are Australian, I think. And you can tell because it's called the 13-story Treehouse, and they spell story wrong. These are hilarious. They're kind of dumb in some ways, but so funny. They're also this interesting mix of prose and illustrations, and sometimes in really funny ways. And it's just these 2 characters who are the author and illustrator, and it's about themselves, who get into all this trouble. They build this elaborate treehouse, and every book they add 13 stories to it. So you get the 26-story treehouse, and the 39-story treehouse, and the 52-story treehouse, and it's already up to the 143rd story Treehouse. So I guess there goes some books. I guess it helps kids count by 13s, which is a useful skill. And they just do it. It's just preposterous. It's just the silliest thing, but it cracks her up so much. And it cracks us up when we read them. So I highly recommend these.
The story is making me laugh so much. I'm reading it with Mom right now, and my mom is laughing as well.
And that's it for now. That was 8 series that we have actual proof that kids love. Keep watching. There'll be more. Like and subscribe. I appreciate it. And I'll see you soon.